Hey guys, it's Sarah and I am about to get started on my layout today for Make Paper Art, and that is an Etsy shop that sells silhouette cut files. And this is the cut file I'm going to be using today, and it is called Let's Blow This Popsicle Stand. And as you can see, it has, a popsicle with the cutout in the middle, and then it has words on the side. Now, I don't necessarily want the words on the side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting those off and then just using the popsicle part, because I am going to be scrapbooking about a little gourmet popsicle place that we have found in our new hometown. So I don't necessarily just, I don't want the words, so I'm going to cut them off, and that's just a little way that you can kind of manipulate your cut files. If it's, not exactly what you're looking for, you can, that's such a simple thing. Just cut them off real quick, and then I still have this part right here that I want. And I have pulled my supplies. I have a bunch of scraps and some stickers and, things that are ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started.
All right, so I'm going to start by cutting off my branding strip of my paper here, and this is a pink paisley paper that I'm using for my background, and I'm going to mat my photos on some white cardstock. Now these are 4x4 photos, so they're perfect squares, and I really have been enjoying that size of photo lately. So I'm just matting these so that they can stand out a little bit, because I'm going to be overlapping them on the layout. And then I decided to use this paper because it kind of mimics the background of the picture that my girls are in and the sign that is up in this store. So I thought it just kind of, when I was going through my papers, that one really stood out to me because it really looks like the background. All right, now I am cutting off the side words on my cut file here, and I cut this out of a very hot pink cardstock. I really wanted it to pop out, and there is some hot pink in the picture as well. So I'm just cutting out, poking out the little bits here and there. And I'm going to go ahead and mount this on this dark blue cardstock. I do have blue in the paper and also in the picture, so I'm going to go ahead and mount it on here so that it kind of stands out a little bit more. I didn't want to do a pattern because I felt it would have been too much. So just the solid blue cardstock, and that's just a little scrap that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it down. I'm using my quick dry adhesive to get into, all the intricate parts there. So I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. While that's drying, I'm going to work with my scraps. These are all scrap papers. Some of them, the two big ones there, are from my 6x6 paper pads. Actually, I think all of these are. And these other ones here are just strips that I had cut and used at some point, and they were just scraps that I kept. So I'm going to layer them up and use them behind these photos. Now I'm trying to find some ink, because I do want to ink at the edges of all these so that they look cohesive, since I have a lot of pattern going on. And I end up picking, I think this one is blue denim, but it looks a little bit too purpley for what I'm looking for. So I'm going to change that out for Stormy Sky, and that's what I'm going to end up using. It's a little bit of a softer blue, and that's what I wanted. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to ink the edges of all of these papers. It's very, very subtle. This isn't like a very bright ink, but it's just perfect for what I needed. So I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges of all of these. Like I said, these two are both full 6x6 papers, and they were just not in a specific paper pad. They might have been a paper pad that I had gone to the end to, so I just ripped them out and kept them, or whatever. And then I'm going to go ahead and use these as well. A couple of these are the top of where, I pulled them out of the paper pad. I'm just going to keep those holes in there. I'm just going to cover them up, so it's not a big deal. And then this green one here as well. And I am going to go ahead and cut around here. This is a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, especially right here where it looks like there's a bite taken out of the popsicle. It was really hard to get my scissors underneath there and get it perfect. And I did not get it perfect, but it's okay. I pick my battles sometimes. So I'm cleaning up a couple of little edges here, and I'm going to try to work on the little bite marks here for a second, but I just kind of say, you know what, it's good enough, it's fine. So I did the best I could. All right, so I have that done. And I'm going to start placing my layers and figuring out where I want everything to go. So I know I want to overlap these two, and the bottom piece there is very, very busy, and I just never ever knew what to use it for. So this just ended up being perfect because I was able to use it, and it still, you know, is on there without, you know, taken away from anything else. So I'm glad I was able to use it that way. And then I'm pulling out these thickers. These are called Buckaroo, and they are a gold foil thicker, and then it has dots, white dots along the letters as well. And I spelled out the word Frios, and that's the name of the popsicle shop. And it's right down the street from our house, and we've been a few times. Delicious. And they have gourmet popsicles. So the one I have in that picture is my favorite. That is banana pudding. Banana pudding popsicles, and they are so good. And they have legitimate pieces of banana and Nilla wafers inside. Oh, it's so delicious. Okay, so now I'm taking my ATG and I'm getting my paper layers put down. I tried not to move them as much as I could because I just really like the way that they're sitting, so I tried not to move them around too much. And then I will stick my pictures down. I'm going to have them overlap just a little bit, slightly angled, nothing too crazy, but just fun. And then I'm going to put my popsicle right next to my pictures. And then I'm going to use my quick dry adhesive to put down my thickers because these are chipboard thickers, and I always find that they don't tend to stay over time, and have found quite a few thickers that had fallen off my layouts, and they're just sitting in the bottom of the pages. So I always make sure I take the extra step just to, you know, reinforce it with my glue, which is not a big deal. All right, so now I'm looking through what I had pulled out. I have this large chipboard popsicle from Echo Park. I pretty much went through all my stickers and chipboard and pulled out anything that had a popsicle on it and said, okay, I'll figure out what I'm going to use later. But I ended up using that chipboard one from Echo Park, and then I'm going to use one here from Pebbles as well, and it's a pink stripe. I'm going to stick that right next to the other one. And then that's all I use. I do have a few more options, but I didn't want it to be too much. So 3 popsicle images I think is good. So I'm going to stick this one right next to the title and chipboard again, so I'm using my adhesive there, and then the other one was a sticker, so I just stuck it down, and I really like how it's sitting on that pink stripe as well. That worked out nicely. All right, so I'm using my pen just to write some journaling. I'm writing it first, and then I'll do like little imperfect lines underneath. And then I'm going to use some sequins, and I pull some out from, I believe this is from Pretty Little Studio, if I was reading that correctly. And these are just a really nice kind of pinkish orangey color, so I thought that went really nice, especially with the orange popsicle, and then, you know, the larger one is pink, so it's going to go nicely all together. And I'm just sticking these down haphazardly, no rhyme or reason. I'm going to stick 3 in a couple places, and I'm stick 1 in a couple, like one place there, and then I'm going to stick 1 in the middle of the O for popsicle and another one in there just to make it look like it belongs. 1 up here, and 1 down there, just kind of haphazard. And that is going to complete my layout, guys. So I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I will have a link down below to the Make Paper Art Etsy page where you can get your own cut files, including this one. And make sure you go check it out. You can also use a code that I'm going to have at the end of my stills here, and that will get you 10% off your order. And you can use that anytime you make an order there. So make sure you take advantage of that discount. And I will see you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.